Welcome back to Washington Watch. I'm Joseph, back home sitting in for Tony with you today. So glad that you're with us. Reminder that the website is tonyperkins.com, where you can watch this and every episode of Washington Watch at your convenience. It's Pride Month, and corporate America has been pulling out the rainbows. But this year, companies are no doubt thinking twice about how to approach Pride Month. After the uprisings we have recently witnessed against Disney, State Farm, and others who have received unwanted attention for their pro-LGBT activism. Meanwhile, companies are also feeling heat from the other side. On Wednesday, the Human Rights Campaign, the nation's largest LGBT political action group, announced that companies wishing to be recognized as a, quote, best place to work for LGBTQ plus equality will need to do more than be LGBTQ friendly or inclusive. They will, quote, need to be bar setters for how companies can do even more, end quote. What's that mean? Well, joining me now to talk about it is Justin Danhof. He's the head of corporate governance at Strive Asset Management. Justin, welcome back to the program.
It's always great to talk with you, Joseph. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, it's good to see you. What's your reaction to HRC's announcement, and what in the world does it mean to be a bar setter for how companies can do even more?
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of the phrase like "stop me from winning more," right? You know, the HRC has been so successful in being the tail that wags the dog of corporate action, not just in Pride Month, but really 365 days a year when it comes to workplace trainings on LGBTQ plus issues and outward-facing events promoting LGBTQ plus causes. So in the original year of the Corporate Equality Index, only a handful of companies got a quote unquote perfect score. And of course, Joseph, you and I know that they ratchet up the parameters that go into the index every year to get even more corporate behavior, money, and action behind HRC's causes. And so now that so many companies, the vast majority of them, frankly, that they poll get a perfect score on the Corporate Equality Index, they need more to set a new benchmark. And what I found most telling about HRC's statement was that companies will only be quote unquote bar setters if they are nominated by their own employees. And so this is a phenomenon that I've witnessed in business, large and small, for the last 12 plus years, that there's this, small minority of employees that are the squeaky wheel that get corporate leaders to act and move very quickly. Again, when it comes to, the Florida legislation, it was a small subset of Disney employees that were screaming at management and the board to oppose Governor DeSantis and the Florida legislature's parental rights legislation down there. And so what HRC is doing is saying, we need you employees that believe in our causes to somehow be even more vocal. So it was definitely a signal to the employee base that, if you have conservative and traditional values, please be quiet. And if you back what HRC supports, speak up even louder, make your megaphone even bigger.
This seems to be a play to empower the wokest corporate employees and give them all this power and the leverage to determine whether a particular company receives this designation or not. Is there any point at which corporate America just says to HRC and kind of the activist wing of this political movement, enough is enough. We've given you your equality. We've been tolerant. We've been respectful. You can't just keep tightening the wench on us and squeezing more out of us. Is there any chance that corporate America responds that way?
I would like to see that, and it would take a bit of courage, right? Because it's a shakedown racket. Because not only do these corporations listen to HRC when it comes to how they should behave, how they should treat their workers, and the like, they actually fund HRC to tell them how to do it. I implore the audience, go to DuckDuckGo, type in Human Rights Campaign corporate sponsors. It's a who's who of corporate America. And it's not just, social media companies and Hollywood companies. No, it's, across industries. It's defense, it's banking, it's, travel. And again, it's across industry. And so it's simply, this cycle is very hard, and it would take some corporate courage to break. And let me tell you, I don't see a lot of spine in corporate America these days, Joseph.
Do we have any reason to think that just a financial contribution to HRC is going to be enough to become a quote unquote bar setter?
Oh, not a chance. No, not a chance. I mean, if you recall a few years ago, Bank of America, for example, got on the wrong side of the so-called bathroom bill in North Carolina. And the response from Bank of America when HRC put on a public media campaign going against the Bank of America and specifically some of their executives, they tried to apologize. They did apologize. They didn't try. They apologized and offered a massive donation, which HRC turned down. So, you know, you can look up their 990s. They're public. HRC doesn't need any more money. Again, when they had this spat with Disney for not getting on to this Florida bill soon enough, again, Disney offered them millions of dollars as an apology just for not moving fast enough in HRC's direction, and they turned the money down. And so, no, you can't buy your grace, if you will, into the HRC. You have to walk the walk and talk the talk.
Justin, we have seen, however, and you mentioned Disney, and I'll bring them up again here because they face some backlash from the other direction because they had taken some activist steps against legislation that the public in Florida really liked to protect kids from sexually explicit material when they're very young. The public liked it. Disney fought against it. They fought a backlash. So are these companies, they seem to be stuck in the middle between what they know the public likes and what HRC wants them to do. How do you see this being resolved?
Yeah, I think where Disney and State Farm both went a little bit too far is, you don't mess with someone's wallet and you definitely don't mess with their children. Right, so that's where Disney and State Farm they crossed the line. These groomer type activities, that's just a step too far for parents. And when especially Disney, which is a company that needs to cater to parents, because as much as the second graders and third graders all love Encanto and they can't afford to buy any of the product, so they need to cater to parents, and that's where they really went over and they hit a tripwire. And Disney's a little bit unique in that Governor DeSantis and the Florida legislature has a tremendous amount of power over, some of the special corporate breaks that they had worked into the system and baked into the cake over the years that they're trying to undo. And so I
Justin
think
Danhof, we are out of time. I've got to let you go. Thank you so much for being with us today. We'll do it again.
Thanks. God bless you.